Welcome to the Live Support Podcast, brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network. I'm your host, June Colson, here with my fellow host, Michele VanDusen. What is Laugh Support? Why, thanks for asking. It's a couple of clean comedians offering a supportive and positive environment for the comedy community. We talk about our highs and our lows and some traumatizing shows. Michele, are you ready? Get set. Let's go. And I can't wait, Michele, for you to tell us who's on the show.
Oh, today we have Dorie McLemore. She's a comedian, a storyteller, a joy bringer who believes that caffeine is keeping her alive. Amen. Popcorn should have its own food group. A double amen. And dry cleaning saves marriages. She is really wise. And that true joy comes from knowing we are worthy of God's love in the middle of all of our imperfections. I'm like, is she watching me? Okay, so Dorie's been speaking and performing stand-up comedy since 2006 for audiences like coast to coast and around the world. She's traveled with Michael Jr. She's traveled with Sisters United, and just wait for this one, carpool line for 2 different schools. 2. All right, let's welcome to the podcast, Dorie McLemore.
Woo! It's Dorie! Oh my goodness. First of all, Michele, excellent job on the McLemore. She said, how do you pronounce Dorie's last name? And I said, like the song Thrift Shop. I'm sure you didn't get that before. Then the song comes out. And she was like, oh, there's a song about a thrift shop? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, who sung that? And I was like, I think it's a Hill song. I think it's something Hill song. Oh, really? I've never heard that one.
No, it's McLemore. And just in case you're wondering, no relation. And I wish there was, because then I would have money and rhythm. So
yes, both will be good. Both will be good. And listen, your introduction when Michele said that popcorn should be its own food group. Let me tell you what happened to me. So I've never done the give something up for Lent thing,
No, you do not do popcorn.
Well, I don't understand. I don't fully understand that. But this year I was like, well, I'm going to try that. I'm going to give something up. And so I thought, what's the thing that every night my husband and I make popcorn, every night we sit down, we split this bowl of popcorn. And I was thinking about that would truly be something I have to lean on God to stop eating this popcorn. When you smell it, you need it, so I thought I'm going to do this. And then I did it, for a week. And then, I heard the pastor say something about, how you gave it up till Easter. And I was like, wait, what?
That's a long time.
I only failed once, and it was just a natural instinct. He sat down beside me, and I reached over and I grabbed a handful of the popcorn, and I started eating it. And then I was like, oh, and I was like, Lord, forgive me for the popcorn.
Oh my God. I would make my husband do it with me. There's no way he would get away with making it. I'd be like, no, you're doing it. Also.
Yes. Well, Dorie, we're so excited to have you with us on Laugh Support. We'd like to talk about basically from the beginning. Our show actually started because Michele was one of the first people to be my laugh support. She was one of the first people who stepped into my life and helped me to work on a bit. And she was there the very first time I stepped on stage in Nashville, Tennessee at the Christian Comedy Association conference. So Michele was
a bit about popcorn.
It was. And now I can't do that bit. I have to give up that bit until Lent. I'm not even allowed to do it this week. So anyway, but tell us when you think about your comedy career, because you've been doing this for a while, when you think back even to the beginning, maybe one of the first people or two that stepped in and who was your laugh support?
Oh, good question. I have to say that it was probably more my parents. I don't know if that counts or not, but they saw it in me. Okay, they count. I know. Good call. But I just think that it was funny because when I kind of first told them about it, they were like, yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, I did not ever have that as on my radar for a career or anything. So they were just and it's funny because thinking back, my parents weren't on stage people, but for some reason, both my sisters and I do things on stage. And I was thinking about my dad actually built us a puppet stage in our playroom because I don't know, why the puppet stage, but he just thought, they love to act and entertain. And I realized when I thought about that it sounds like I was rich. And I just want you I was like, my dad built us a puppet stage in our playroom. Like,
right off the garden in the pool house.
Yes, I know. But we did have above ground pool. So let's just bring it on down. Like it's not there. But
wait, a puppet stage and a pool? And then you say, oh, we're not rich?
Right. Now she's trying not to brag.
I'm bragging.
What is swimming in down there? Oil? No.
That is hilarious. So they just saw in us that we like love to do those kind of things. I remember like using a tape recorder, like the old school tape recorders, and like making my own radio show for no one,
Yes.
Just we'd record.
Can you do the intro for us?
What now?
Can you do the intro to your old radio show for us?
Oh, my memory is so bad. It is Finding Dory and I Am the Fish. I do remember I did Barbie news on their video camera.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And had a little jingle, and I don't know exactly what it was like. It was like Barbie news, something like that. I don't know. But I used, my grandfather gave us his old video camera that had to be connected to the TV still. Like there's no way to video record outside of your like 2-foot radius from the TV. But I like read the manual and learned how to use it and made my sisters do commercials with me and stuff. And when they wouldn't play with me, I did the Barbie news. So I was always into that stuff. So my parents just saw it, like, I don't know, early on, and they were like, go for it, and I didn't even know what comedy was, though. I wasn't even like this huge fan of like stand-up comedy because you didn't have YouTube back in our day, right? Like,
right.
How did we even listen to it? Like, I wasn't allowed to watch any of the shows it was on. So when I first started, I was at a women's conference and I was kind of like praying about what I was supposed to be doing. I had 2 kids and it was like, Lord, what do you want from me? And I felt like he was like, hey, when are you going to do that speaking thing that I kind of hinted at,
Mm-hmm.
early in your like, teenage years or whatever. And I was like, Lord, I have these conversations with God, like he is really talking out loud to me, but he's not. But I remember saying, God, I can't just walk up onto a stage and start speaking. They like arrest people for that. Like you can't, like, someone has to invite you. And I felt like he just said, just say yes. Like when someone asks you, and I thought, well, I'm off the hook because no one is going to just randomly ask me to speak. And
right.
So the next day at the same retreat, this women's ministry director from our church was like, Dorie, I heard you had the ladies up laughing last night. I want you to be our entertainment speaker at our next women's event. And I was like, I don't know what an entertainment speaker is. I didn't say that, but I was like, what is that? And I told her I would pray about it. Which means no.
Right.
That's a no, And so I realized on the way home that I was supposed to say yes. So I called her back and said, I'm supposed to say yes. And I don't know what it is, but she had me do 30 minutes. And
oh my, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was too naive to know that you don't do 30 minutes of comedy your first time on stage. You do like 3 minutes of comedy. But it was, I don't know how it came together. I think the Lord just kind of gave me stuff to say because in about 6 months I had to get up there and do it and it didn't stink. And I think God knew it couldn't stink the first time because then I would never get on stage again. Right. So.
Right. Yeah. I was just reading something this week and it was talking about how people are like searching for this, like, what's my purpose, God, what's my purpose?
Right.
As if he's got it hidden, because we do that. We act like it's like hidden somewhere. And,
Right.
I know when the Lord called me into comedy, it was this whole like shock of like, wait, what? That's so out of the box. That's so whatever. But as you're describing your story, as I was reading this week, I was doing the same thing. I was looking back and I was like, oh, Yeah, it was kind of always there. It was always there.
Right.
I was the kid who was writing plays with my sister,
Oh,
and we were playing. We had paper guitars, and we would put on we had a show, the Easter Bunny Chronicles, every Easter, and it was this thing. So at first it was like, this is so crazy and random, but then God's like, you've never shut up, June. Like, you talk all the time. I know how you're wired. We act like it comes out of nowhere. But like in your case, Michele, I don't need you to confirm that, okay?
But it's true.
If I was quiet, we wouldn't have a show where we talk. So
That's right.
Here we are. But it is, I love that story. I love that your laugh support really right away was somebody who didn't even realize, a lot of times God will use people. They don't even know they're being used in that moment. And he is so sneaky and funny. You're like, I don't know that anybody's going to ask me. And he's like, wait till tomorrow. Here it comes. I love it.
I would love to see like replays of you guys doing like Barbie News or is interviewing the Bunny Report or whatever it is, the Easter Bunny Report. Like, I think awesome. That would be a great new little kids show or something.
Yeah.
So please make it happen.
Awesome. That would be great. I have Barbies still, so I mean, it could happen.
You got to keep them. I have boys. We didn't have, but we actually moved into a house, and the only thing that people left behind in the closet was this box of naked Barbies. And my kids were like, I think Trey was 6 and Ty was 10, and they came down like the box was on fire. They were just like, what do we do? 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 We got a box of Barbies. They're naked. What do we do?
That's hilarious. Oh my God. My mom just found, my mom saved a lot of our like growing up toys. It's cute because then my kids now play with them and I love it. Yeah. And one of them was a set of Glamour Gals, and they're like little tiny dolls and they're super cute, but some of the clothes just somehow deteriorated over the years, And so my mom like gave Kaylee, my little girl, money to like clothe them. And she because people like, I guess you can pay on Etsy or something for people to pay, like to make these clothes. But Kaylee is really actually kind of good at it. And she made little Glamour Gal clothes. So I hear you on the naked. It's hard to keep them, just all legit,
they're living a hard life, those Barbies, those poor naked Barbie. We could almost do a fundraiser show for that. We could almost, there are people that could relate to that. Just come and clothe the Barbies.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Well, okay. So you started out, your comedy was actually, so when you were on stage, were you just doing straight comedy for 30 minutes or did they have you do your testimony or, what was the thing that you did the first time?
Right. At that time, they had like a whole conference with speakers and stuff. So I was just the entertainment. So I did all comedy, but it was definitely, I found like kind of that Dorie story type. I was the storyteller in me came out too. Yeah. Like, so there was stories, there was, so it wasn't a lot of like one-liners or anything like that. It was definitely more story and, actually it's still on my YouTube channel, my first ever time on stage. Hilarious, like super grainy, but I just leave it up there because I'm like, it was just the earliest thing. And so it's fun to look back at that.
Well, and you said, you didn't know that that's not even a thing to do, to get up and do 30 minutes of comedy. And sometimes I think it's just a comfortable, beautiful ignorance that we have when we go up there. But then at a certain point, people start telling you, well, hey, maybe you want to, or you should do, or try, or you start seeking out advice because you're like, okay, I know I'm doing this, but I want to do it better. So do you remember maybe some early on advice where somebody came to you and said, hey, you might want to try this, and you were just really grateful that you learned that piece of information?
Right. I think that like, I didn't realize what a network of comedians and especially Christian comedians at the time that there was. So like I was kind of a lone ranger for quite a while, but then I was introduced to the Christian Comedy Association, and seriously going to that conference, I was like, oh my gosh, I know nothing. Like I just, I mean, in a good way, like it wasn't like no one made me feel bad about that, but I just was like, I couldn't believe just the resources and the information and like the people, just being connecting to those people really helped with, my laugh support, because I was really on my own for a long time and just didn't know. So it was like neat to see like, I don't know, how to construct a joke, how to, I mean, what I was doing was working, but it was like I wasn't honing it. I wasn't doing, what I could do to make it even better. And like, just what I learned from that was just invaluable. I was like so blown away. I went home like, okay, I'm oddly excited, but also like totally thinking I know nothing and I don't belong in this, but God just, had to affirm that, hey, look, I called you into this, and, you're doing it kind of your way, but it's definitely valuable to learn more and more things and not think you have it all figured out, because I definitely did not.
Right.
So, yeah, that was, I think, my biggest eye opener, and just that, like I don't need to be a lone ranger in it. I didn't realize how many people are really in the same situation, and how many people are willing to give up their time and like resources to help you. Like, I was blown away by that it was like not this competitive thing. I'm sure in some cases it is, but
Right.
I didn't find that there. I really felt like people were so amazing. And I think I met both of you through either, I think Michele, it was CCA for sure. And then I think June, it might've been SheCon first, and then the CCA. So I just feel like that was like game changing for me and my viewpoint on it, as well. So I love it. That's
Now,
how that's been.
I know that SheCon is a conference, right? It's like, what was the acronym stand for?
Oh, it was
just
gonna
She,
get it
like
wrong.
She Conference at the time. I think like it was SheCon was like the She Conference. It's
Yeah.
the women, Christian women who were not only comedians, but it was Lisa Mills and Kay Dodd put it on outside of Atlanta. And they basically invited any woman that was kind of using their comedic voice to share the gospel, whether it was through comedy or inspiration. Go ahead.
So was it like speakers, humor, entertainers? So
Oh yeah, I think it might have been something like that. Speaking and
something like that, right? But
like
when I hear you
I'm gonna
guys
get it
say,
wrong.
"Oh yeah, we met at SheCon," I'm picturing like like the Amazon women. You're like, "Oh, I'm like I can see you guys like
I kinda
dressed
like
in
that,
this
actually.
rap battle. Yeah.
Michele, that's so hurtful. Do you know how many times at 5'10" I've been called an Amazon woman?
I never have, June. Like, give me my moment here. I'm excited about this.
Okay, Dorie.
5'1".
But
I'm
that
only
was
3 inches taller than I could claim a disability. Actually, 3 inches shorter. And so I just want you to know that
Wait,
I
I could
love
be
Amazon.
wait. This is a
reference.
disability? Wait, what can I do now?
Michele, have
We
you not
can't
claimed
reach
yours?
things, Michele. We can't
Hmm?
reach things. That's why.
I can't reach things either. It's just the stuff down low. So I'm not really sure why that's fair.
That's true. I never
Because you
thought of
can't
it
reach
that way.
high, I can't reach low. That's why Michele and I are such good partners. I clean the
Yeah.
ceiling fan. He gets the baseboards.
I
Like
love that.
we're gonna have a cleaning company soon.
That's
I mean, after
awesome.
this, if this podcast doesn't just go global, we'll just do that. But yeah, so SheCon is where we met. And it wasn't really just meant to be like only women, but it really was at the time. I think in the CCA they saw a need that Lisa and Kay did, that said, I think we just need some sisterhood, because as women, we, a lot of times we're taught to be competitive with each other and to, to see each other as threats. And it was really a place to foster these friendships and like kind of connect and go, our friend Marlo, my goodness, she, she's such an inspiration. She spoke and just kind of brought out some real truth inside of us and helped us kind of bring ourselves a little bit higher. And then you had the comedic. We let a couple dudes in. So the Brights were there. So Richard Bright was there, and then Rick Roberts was there as well. So we let some guys in. But it was a great time to just kind of connect. And build some more laugh support. It really was. It was awesome. And Michele, if they are able to do it again, we're rooming together. We're doing it. We're going for sure.
Well, if you want to be able to sleep, because I do snore, you will have to have earplugs and maybe a sound machine, something like that. So
there it is. Well, let's talk about Dorie. So we talk about who was your laugh support. And we usually ask, have you become someone else's laugh support? And I think that there's something very exciting on the horizon that we have to talk about because
Yay.
you really are in your latest project. You are really going to be the laugh support for so many people. So you have a
Oh,
book coming out. Michelle and I have both already had a little sneaky peeky on it. It's
We
amazing.
did. It's so good.
It's so good. So it's a
yeah.
devotional. And here's what spoke to me, because obviously comedy is at my heart. So many times I've looked for not even just Christian books, but just any books. Everything is so filled with just drama and pain and
Right.
hurt, violence, and whatever. And I'm like, can we just get something funny? And to
Mhm.
have a daily devotion, which is what you've written, that you wake up in the morning and you start your day with joy and
Mhm.
laughter, then a lesson and some truth and inspiration. I am a huge fan of what you've
Aw.
done. So tell us how you decided to do that. And I really, people, you have to get this book because
Aw.
it is the laugh support I think everybody needs every morning. So talk.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited. I really felt like the Lord was just like, it's time to put this together, because I tend to really remember things better if there's a story involved or there's laughter involved. I really believe that when if a preacher uses a funny story, it's like it just kind of, you open up your heart, and then like when you laugh, and then God can make a deposit in there. And so I really wanted to do that. I wanted to take what my friends call Dorie stories. They have coined that phrase, I guess. And because I would tell them over and over again, if something funny would happen, I would say it. And then unfortunately, the people who were really close to me would end up hearing them way too many times. And I felt bad. I was like, yeah, you've heard this already. I know. And so I was like, I really need to start using, and I felt like I was starting to make connections between those stories and some like biblical truths. And I thought, I really need to put this together and I always feel like when I'm at an event, I would, love it and get to do, we'd laugh together and stuff, but then it was just over. And I just thought, it'd be amazing to have something like a resource for these women when they leave, to be able to take with them and go home and really, be able to connect with the spiritual side of things. Because sometimes I sometimes speak after comedy, but sometimes I don't. So it's like just the fun, and funny is awesome. But to be able to give them something they can bring home and use every day. And just, I'm really excited about it and terrified a little bit, but to have it out there. But I really felt like God asked me kind of to do it. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to walk in it and be obedient. And I know his word doesn't return void. So I'm excited about pushing that forward and seeing what God does with that. So
I have a really, really important question here.
yes.
What's the name?
The name of my book?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. It's called Hope Looks Good on You. And it actually came from a comedian's joy-inducing daily devotional for women. Not that men can't read it, but the stories tend to like favor women issues. But my not women issues like that, but like just women stories. But my daughter, it came from Hope Looks Good on You. Actually, my daughter likes to minister, and she's such an encouragement, my little girl. And she'll put Post-it notes up all over my room if she thinks I'm having a bad day, with just encouraging words on them. And she had put up this Post-it note, and it said, "Joy looks good on you," which ends up being a title of a song. So I couldn't use it, but actually God was really ministering to me, and hope, the word hope, and just like, no one can take hope from you. That's your choice to make that and your perspective on life. And it's just amazing how powerful a perspective of hope is. And so I felt like that was what the Lord wanted me to use. And it ministered to my heart when she, said that in my, actually, I think she said, "Love looks good on you." That's right. Love looks good on you, but hope looks good on you. I just feel like that's such a powerful phrase that, you can, life looks better when you're hopeful. I mean, honestly. So I hope that is what it brings the people.
The part that I read, I just belly laughed out loud while I'm reading. And I don't do that a lot. Like, I'll read stuff and I'll think, oh, that was funny. No, your devotional, out loud laughing.
Oh.
And then right from there, then it went right into the scripture, and I'm like, oh, and now I have to reflect. So it was amazing. Like, it went from laughter to, okay, let's get serious about God here. What's it doing in me? And then it's so good. It is so,
Oh,
I can't speak highly enough of your book, and I'm looking forward to buying it and just, passing out, hey, Mother's Day, here you go, people. Father's Day, here you go.
Yeah.
You know a woman in your life, so every man should buy one, uh and
aw.
read it, and then give it, to their mom or to their wife or to their daughter or to their neighbor. Everyone should have one.
Love it.
Everyone should be able to have that opportunity to wake up laughing and connecting with God. So I love it. I absolutely.
Thank you.
And there's just such good stories. Here's what I envision one day is like this book. And because for me, I think it was the second story I read. I don't want to give too much away, but you were wearing a ski mask in the story, right? And I'm cracking up and I'm telling my husband this story, so it says it's a daily devotion for women, but when I was laughing, I actually shared the story with my husband, and and he thought that was really funny. And I imagine that like one day you're going to be getting ready to, be at a church or something. How pastors like to open with a funny story, and they're going to like have your story at the beginning of their sermon. One of those stories are going to show up one day. You'll be like, wait a minute, that was my story. Like, I totally, because some pastor's wife is going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so funny.
That is
Or
awesome.
she's going to use it when she speaks or something. I just think it's great.
Yeah.
Dorie, it's been so great to have you on here with us today. And so again, the book is Hope Looks Good on You.
Yes.
And it's a daily devotion, and it's full of joy and laughter and lessons and a beautiful message. And we are just
Yeah.
thrilled to death that you joined us today. Now, listen, I want to tell you something, and I've been sharing this with our guest. So, when I end whatever I'm doing, I always say, Jesus and Junebug loves you. That's my thing. That's how I like, because when I do comedy, I don't always, like you said, give, my testimony. And I'm fortunately, God's put me in clubs and around people that are not necessarily, wanting me to beat them over the head with the Bible. So I just say, Jesus and Junebug loves you. Well, I wanted Michele to have something to say. And I try every episode to get her to say it. Michele, will you please say it today for Dorie? Okay.
No,
You're not Dorie. Do you want to know what it is?
I
And then
do
you
wanna
and then you
know.
tell her it's good. Okay. I say Jesus and Junebug loves you. And I want Michele just to say, Lil Michele and the Messiah tell you to take it higher.
Oh, that's
Yes.
that is awesome.
You like it? You like it. And we'll give you one for free. We're gonna say Jesus and Dorie tell you to keep telling his story.
Ooh, I like
Yeah.
it.
You got it. You got it. You're what? That's a free one.
It's free.
If you want to use it, it's
Okay,
a free
I like
one.
that. I like that.
Michele, now that you have your composure, would you like to tell Dorie thanks and close us out here? No, oh my goodness. All right, that's it for our episode with Dorie McLemore, which is
Thank
Thrift
you.
Shop. For our listeners, again, Thrift Shop is not a song from Hillsong.
No,
so
don't listen to it. June played that for me, and she's like, "Oh, bad word," and I had to turn it off. Do not.
All right, you guys, Jesus and Junebug loves you. That's it for this episode of Laugh Support Podcast.
Bye.